Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Nathan Gaming, where today we are continuing our journey of Knights of the Old Republic. God. You know, I wasn't hating working in retail, but let me tell you, man, I am getting to a point where I'm kind of hating it. I've only been at it for like almost a year. It's like, and it's bad. It's really, it's getting bad. It's just getting dumb. More specifically, it's getting kind of dumb. But anyways, enough about real life. Let us get back to the fucking game. So last time we left off, we infiltrated the Black Volker base after rescuing Zalbar with Mission, and we got to learn a little bit about Mission, and during that whole fiasco of trying to get Zalbar, she showed us that there's the location of the Black Volker base, and after we went to that little secret path that she showed us to get inside, which was behind a ray shield, which makes sense. Of course you would put a ray shield there, because otherwise you don't want people going in through your back door. But yeah, so we infiltrated through their back door. And it's just a matter of getting through the base now. Alright. But yeah, that being said, I believe another thing was that I was gonna probably make a beeline for the outside of the base so I could fuck off and go do something, if I remember correctly. I don't remember. I remember that the last time I wanted to... Oh yeah, that's probably why, because we were low on health. That's probably why, because we were all low on health, and I don't want to waste a med pack. Well, if I have 25 of them, I guess I could waste a med pack. My character needs multiple because he's a fucking juggernaut. At this point, he's becoming a damn juggernaut. Zalbar's a bigger juggernaut. Guy's a Wookiee. Sure. Alright. Okay, so yeah, let's continue. And also, by the time of this recording, which I don't know, which I don't know about you guys, but I saw the new PlayStation Showcase. And so yeah, the new Spider-Man 2 is looking pretty good, and also, Jesus Christ, the Mad Lads actually did it. They're remaking Metal Gear Solid 3. I'm at a loss for words. I'm at a loss for words. They're remaking one of my favorite games. Another one. And that almost makes me want to cover the entire Metal Gear franchise on the channel. But that, almost. I'm debating it. I know it's still a long way off before we'll actually see anything comparable to gameplay. But, it does make me want to, like, at least try to cover it. I'm so stoked about wanting to play MGS 3 Remade. But that's not the only thing. They also announced that all of the previous games will be re-released on modern consoles, which, that's fucking amazing. I don't know who they're getting to do that shit, but that's pretty fucking awesome. I hope it works out, because let me tell you, I'm not too confident if it's Konami the one in charge of that shit. If Konami's the one at the helm of it, I'm not gonna have too much faith in it. I'm probably gonna give that thing a wide berth if that's the case. Konami does not inspire a whole lot of confidence, especially after Metal Gear Survive. Rightly so. And you know, for a while, they were up there as being one of the worst game companies out there. You know, aside from Activision and EA, which I think Activision and EA by far take the cake of being the worst game companies there is. I would say Konami's definitely another one, but in reality, we can't really say much about Konami because, I mean, they're a pachinko company, so I mean, it's hard to really blame a pachinko company that doesn't specialize in making video games and their inability to make proper good video games and failing to understand what makes a good video game, right? It's not like they've made anything else other than Metal Gear, right? 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 You get me. You guys get me. But no, seriously though, Konami, what the hell is up with Konami? With these days, I have no idea. I kinda don't care, frankly, either. I'm just hoping that Konami has learned a valuable lesson in their PR strategy. I hope they learned a valuable lesson about in regards to their PR strategy going forward, because you know, basically, working someone to the point of ridiculous amounts of work time. I mean, look, we all know the background stories behind it. You know, like absurd working hours, always constantly demanding something from the development team, and particularly Kojima, and the bad blood got so bad that Kojima had to be locked in a fucking room in order to, and was forced to work from there, and he had to give notes to people from behind the door, and it's like, that's some fucking bullshit right there. What the hell is even that? What the hell kind of work ethic is that? What the fuck is wrong with you people? You fuckers are animals. But anyways, yeah, if that wasn't bad enough, if that didn't cement the bad blood between them, it was the fact that they couldn't even let him accept his fucking game award for the rather monumental success of MGS5, which, after all of that other shit I just mentioned, I mean, the fact that game came out in any sort of comparably playable state is a fucking miracle in itself. I mean, I don't know much about Konami now, but goddamn did some of those people probably deserve to get punched in the mouth. I'm not even kidding. They probably deserve getting punched in the mouth. That Metal Gear Survive backfire was absolutely deserved. Absolutely. You're not even a person anymore when you do shit like that to actual human beings. And I don't care like for what reason or how petty. You could just fire the son of a bitch, but no, you have to literally lock that person in a fucking closet, basically. It's like locking someone in a fucking closet. It's like getting shoved into a locker in high school. It's like, why the fuck would you do this? Unless it was just to be fucking cruel. Because you can be cruel. And because you should, and because you want to. I mean, that's the only thing that makes fucking reasonable sense. Does anyone else think of anything? Can anyone else watching this video think of any other reason why you would do something so ridiculously heinous? I can't think of it. In any case, it's so stupid. I'm actually surprised they haven't really gotten away with it, but God, it's surprising just how much leniency there is in terms of like work, in terms of employee and human rights violations that goes on in Japan, I guess. It's like, I mean, we know that people in Japan work absurd long amounts of hours, and they don't get really any other bonuses or pays as a result, and these fuckers end up dying from being overworked. And we know it gets bad in Japan, but Jesus Christ, that's just bad. That's just really bad. Like, who fucking does that? Oh, I'm gonna lock this person in a closet because he keeps annoying us. He keeps spending our money on some ridiculous shit that we don't really need and don't really care about. I guess. I have no idea why they do the things that they do. I just know that it's dumb. And also, if you look at the way Metal Gear Survive turned out, you know exactly what they probably wanted from Kojima, too. You know those people were probably wanting some live services. They were probably looking at EA and they're like, where's our FIFA Ultimate Team there, fucking Kojima?
Sure.
Where's our FIFA Ultimate Team? In case you also don't know the story about that, an EA executive, when they were looking into Star Wars 1313, no, it wasn't even that. It was the new Star Wars game. It was the action-adventure game by the renowned industry veteran that made the Uncharted series, whose name currently eludes me. And she was the brains behind the Uncharted series, but they hired her and Visceral to make a Star Wars game, and then they go and pitch the idea to EA, and they're like, we're gonna shut down the studio, and you're out of a job now. Oh, why is that? Well, it's because this game isn't what we wanted. This game is essentially an action-adventure. Alright, how can we turn an action-adventure into another FIFA Ultimate Team? And everyone who heard that, who heard about that was just like, the fuck? Why the fuck did, what? FIFA Ultimate Team? And this was before the Star Wars Battlefront 2 controversy. This was like before, this was the prelude to the notorious absolute dumpster fire that was DICE's Battlefront 2. And I'm not gonna give DICE too much shit, because we all know that the real idiots in charge of that shit is always the publishers. Alright? I'm willing to give the studios a lot of leeway when it comes to certain executive decisions, because it's usually not the studio's fault for some of the decisions that get greenlighted and get basically prioritized or determined to have to exist in a fucking game. It's usually some idiot that's high up who's never touched a video game in his fucking life, and it's just like, oh yeah, that right there should be in the video game because that makes money, and we want to make all the money. Actually, I don't need to save. I don't need to save. What I need to do is use the map. I don't need to save. Return to hideout. So yeah. All in all, it's just so dumb. It's so dumb. It's so fucking dumb. Like, why can't people just not be dumb? I know it's hard being a game publisher and having to sit there and be like, oh god, there's all this money that we could be making, but we can't, because it's just we can't. It's just too good not to pass up. But it's just like, and it's just, but it's just like, yo, these kinds of games do not work for that sort of thing, especially fucking Star Wars. Who thinks that that's actually a good idea? Who thought that that was actually a good idea? Oh, we'll just fuck over Star Wars fans. Probably the most rabid fan base. Probably one of the biggest fan bases in all of entertainment history. And we'll fuck all of them over by making an actually genuine inferior product that just sells all of its content to you behind a loot box. And we make it absolutely impossible for you to actually acquire it any other way that's free. Who thought that was a great fucking idea? Because that person deserved to be fired from their job. That person deserved to be fired. And look, I know. All right, it's the whole push for microtransactions was the fucking brainchild of one great big Disney executive with the most punchable not Disney executive, the big EA executive with the most punchable face in the world, a guy named Andrew Wilson. Look, I'm not saying that he should be punched in the face. I will never advocate for violence, but I am going to say that it's surprising that guy has I would be surprised to know if he had never been shoved in a locker once a day in his life. Because that guy looks like he absolutely does. Or that he still does. He still looks like someone you who would have nobody would have any qualms with wanting to push or shove into a locker. That guy just, like, if it isn't bad enough that he looks like the kind of guy that you kind of just like, I don't like this guy. It's especially bad when you also stop and think about, well, what's this guy known for? What's his track record? Oh, he's the fucking mother of all loot boxes. This guy actually fucking started the trend. Fuck this guy. It's probably why he limits most of his appearances at cons. In fact, when was the last time anyone's seen Andrew Wilson? Can anyone actually tell? Can anyone actually point to a moment where Andrew Wilson was actually seen live in front of a camera? Because I certainly fucking can't. That man's gone. He's out there. He's gone into the ether, and rightly so. Because if I was Andrew Wilson and I was dumb enough to try to push that shit into every fucking video game, I would want to fucking hide too. Because you know for a fucking fact that this is a thing that's been brewing for the longest time. And you know that, and here's the funny thing, they knew it. They knew it was brewing for the longest time, because otherwise they wouldn't have pivoted away from it as quickly as they did. Because if they were stupid about this, they probably would have been like, oh, well, you know, this is just Star Wars. Well, we could do this to everything else. No, they pivoted it to just about everything. The entire industry even laughed at them for it. The entire industry even laughed at them for it. And knowing that, it's like they must have realized. They must have realized, knowing all of this, that, oh shit, we really done fucked ourselves. And so they just decided that they would pull away from all of that crap, and that they would kind of reevaluate their strategy going forward, and they would just not... They would not try to push bullshit into bullshit things like that into games where it doesn't deserve to be there. Where it doesn't deserve to be there. People were actually fucking surprised when Fallen Order came out. When Jedi Fallen Order came out and it was announced, and it did not have any of the fucking bullshit that EA was pushing. People were actually breathing a sigh of relief, just like, oh my god. They're just like, no, not even a sigh of relief. They were just like in awe, just like, oh my god. This is a story-driven video game? This is a story-driven video game, and there's no microtransactions? None? Except maybe some downloadable DLC or pre-order content, but that's it? Damn, EA, that's surprising. I'm actually shocked. It was quite the turnaround, let me tell you. But yeah, this is something that's been brewing for the longest time, alright? It's been brewing for the longest time. It's been brewing for me in particular when it came... Look, I knew that EA was going down the dark path for like a while, but I never really cared or bothered with it because it didn't seem like it was that pervasive at the time. But then I played the Star Wars The Old Republic when it first came out, and I tried to stick with it for like a good while. And when I realized, oh, I don't even have to do a monthly subscription with this thing, I could literally say fuck this shit and just go and play, like, just go and, like, play the game for free and not have a subscription for it. That's cool. And so I played it for free, and then everything in the game constantly reminded you that you were a free-to-play scum, and that you absolutely and you were absolutely a wretched thing for not buying their stupid subscription service. And I'm like, okay, look, game, I know you probably have a pet peeve with people who probably didn't want to spend a monthly subscription to play your fucking video game, but this is not how you go about doing free to play. This is not how you go about doing free to play. And you know, it would be one thing if it was good, but it wasn't. And look, I haven't played The Old Republic recently, and so my opinion is liable to change, but I seriously doubt they could overhaul that combat. Look, when people were, when I should probably say, when I was looking at reviews, when I was looking at, not really reviews, but when I was looking at insider knowledge, when I was looking up shit about the game, because, you know, I was a big fan of Knights of the Old Republic, the 2 game series, and so I was like, oh man, they're making a fucking MMO out of this shit. That's kind of cool. And I was on an MMO craze at the time, and I'm like, that just seems fucking perfect. And I got friends I could play this with. That'd be fucking dope. And then I was watching the trailers with bated breath. I was so enthusiastic about the game. I was like, this game is gonna be lit. This is gonna be bigger than fucking WoW or some shit. I literally thought that in my mind. I was like, this shit's gonna be bigger than WoW. Boy, was I fucking wrong. This game was basic bitch as hell. And it played exactly like WoW too. Like, I've only played WoW like on a 14-day trial. But this game felt like it was just WoW adjacent. It was like WoW with a new coat of paint. That's what the game felt like to me. WoW with a new coat of paint.
Please don't hurt me. I just serve the food here, that's all. I'm not like these others. I'm not even a Black Vulker. Please don't kill me.
How did you end up here in the black? Don't worry, I just wanted to ask you. You better give me some information. Leaving you alive is too risky. Sorry, sister. Looks like your order's up. Leaving you alive is too risky. Sorry, sister. Looks like your order is up. Bopping. Anyways, how did you end up in the Black Vulker base?
My name is Ada. My father owed Davik some money, but he couldn't pay. Davik killed my father and sold me into slavery here at the Vulker compound to pay off the debt.
Wow. That sucks. Don't worry, I just want to ask you some questions.
Well, alright. I still don't know how much help I can be, but I sure hope you get rid of all the Vulkers. I hate them.
I bet. I would actually be surprised if they treated you better than just about any other schmuck that happens to be kept prisoner in this place. In fact, I'd actually be surprised if you weren't subjected to the worst kind of humiliation possible. I mean, this may be Star Wars, and this may be mostly this may be mostly family friendly, but let's be honest, in a real life situation, a woman that's kept in captivity under any length of time by one or more individuals, there's not gonna be a day that doesn't go by where they probably don't think, yeah, I could probably tap that. and what the fuck is she gonna do about it? Nothing. She's mine. She's my bitch. Mine. It's just like, yeah, no. But yeah, Star Wars is mostly brand friendly. But you know, for a franchise with war in its title, it has the most it has the least offensive critical lens of war I have ever seen in any franchise ever that involves war. Where can I find the prototype swoop engine accelerator?
What? I've never heard of such a thing. I guess it might be in the garage on the lower level. That's where all the Vulkers go to work on their swoop bikes. But I've never been down there. The elevator is protected by a security system. Only the Vulkers are allowed to go down there.
I mean, granted, this franchise also has a history of, like, even in its mainline movies, the literal slaughter of peoples, races, and also even the butchering of younglings. But that's something that they handled to a very careful degree, mostly. I mean, the slaughtering of the Tuscans was one thing, but I mean, the literal butchering of younglings, because I don't know if I could say the C word without it flagging something on this on the YouTube algorithm, but it's like the butchering of literal younglings is probably a big no-no It's probably a big no-no. Youngling murder is a big no-no, I would imagine, for a lot of rating systems. But that does happen. That does happen. I'm just surprised they haven't gone the extra mile to, you know, not take it a little extra step further. I mean, they already covered killing younglings. I'm surprised they haven't touched any other touchy subjects. But I mean, I don't know. Star Wars, I guess, under George Lucas, gets to pick and choose what kind of dark flavors of the story is going to subject itself to, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how George Lucas' mind works. I don't know how George Lucas approached most of his thought processes for this series. I think it's funny that they were able to get away with going a few extra miles of some pretty fucked up dark subject matter without while obfuscating the obvious problem with ratings boards. But it's like, you could. Yeah, I'm surprised that there hasn't been a story yet that has covered the potential possibility of that. Of, like, people getting... Because we know slavery exists in the Star Wars franchise, but we don't hear a whole lot about how the slavery usually tends to turn people into sex workers, and we haven't gotten anyone who literally has gone down a dark path, or is a character who you play as who goes down a dark path, or you watch the story of whose entire adventure is literally them trying to escape from the horrible memories of that putrid existence that they used to live. I'm surprised we haven't gotten very many of those stories. I mean, unless it already exists somewhere, but I have not seen it, and I certainly have not heard people talk about it. So, yeah. Anyways, I guess none of that shit matters. Really, I guess none of that shit matters. This was originally about EA and their video game company bullshit, and it just spun off from there. That's how weird my rants get sometimes. I jump off from one subject to another. Anyways, I'm looking for a prisoner, a woman named Bastila.
Is she that Republic soldier? I heard one of the Vulcar mention her, but she's not here. He said Brejik didn't trust his men around her. I guess she's too important to be a slave here in the kitchens, getting pawed and groped and kicked and spit on like me. Brejik must have taken her somewhere safe.
Well, I stand somewhat, if not mostly, corrected. They've certainly touched upon the some sexual assault and discrimination, but they've certainly touched upon it here, but yeah, they haven't. I mean, they touched upon it a few times even before this in this game, but it's just like, you don't really get anything that actually goes all the way with it. You don't. You haven't seen anything from this franchise that goes all the way with that and actually makes that kind of issue like a specific point of conflict. Anyways, where can I already asked, if I let you go, and can you find your way out of here? Let's see. Yeah, if I let you go, can you find your way out of here?
Now that you've killed the guards who were supposed to watch me, I think I could find my way out of here.
Okay. Hurry then, get out of here.
I'm free to go? You're not gonna kill me? I don't know how I can ever repay you. Thank you. Thank you. I have to get out of here before any of the Vulcars see me.
Light side points. And she's off. Anyways, but yeah. I mean, hell, they haven't even gotten into some even, I mean, hell, even just outside of, like, very realistic subject matter that hits a little too close to home and is more likely probable to exist in the real world and is probably going to affect more people. If you wanted to avoid those kind of, like first world very realistic problems that could definitely exist, at least in large quantities. You could certainly focus on like the more gruesome aspects of the Sith and what the Sith do. Like, when was the last time you heard of a story about? Because we all know that Anakin turned to the dark side because of a few reasons: the loss of his mother, and because Padme was gonna die, and also because of his feud with the Council. His feud with the Council and their constant inability to trust Anakin Skywalker to just be a decent fucking human being, or at least to give him the benefit of the doubt. Because those fuckers they just can't help themselves. They're just like, no, Skywalker's too powerful. We have to make sure we keep a leash on him at all times. Even though he has proven consistently that he's a decent human being, we have to keep a leash on this boy for all times. Yeah, there was a lot of contributing factors. And Clone Wars, the TV show, kind of further helped to flesh out and further solidify that issue, because then they got rid of his only apprentice in Ahsoka, which I'm sure is what led to the bullshit of him becoming a member of the Council, but not an actual master. Probably because of that. Probably because he had a chance with Ahsoka, and then Ahsoka got blamed for some stupid shit, and then Ahsoka got fucking exiled from the Jedi Order off of some stupid shit that they later realized, oh, well, actually, this was a fucking terrible mistake. This was a lie. Let's try to get her back. And then she was like, no. That's okay. I'm just gonna fuck off and go do my own thing. And she did. It led to one of the most hot gut-wrenching moments in the actual history of the Clone Wars series, because you actually felt that a little bit. You actually watched her character grow, watch her relationship with Skywalker develop, and you're just like, this shit is fucked. This is unfair.
What?
Anyways, now my nerddom is kicking in. But you get my point. It's you know, Star Wars could focus on some other aspects too. Like, instead of like maybe like the angle of like losing a loved one, and also because people don't trust you, you can focus on a revenge angle. We don't get too many revenge stories in the Star Wars universe. Well, I mean, I could scratch that. We get revenge stories, but they usually take the form of a Sith Lord who wants revenge on someone, or someone who turns into a Sith Lord because he wants revenge on someone, or some crazy shit like that. We never get a story. Okay, this doesn't work. What if I... Okay, that doesn't work either. No. We never get a story...
Yes?
that focuses on purely a character who is primarily driven by a need for revenge. Like, a need for revenge. And it's a decent human being who does it for the right reasons, alright? It's because, let's take, for example, I'm working on a bit of a fan fiction. One of the things that I'm working with is that, the character in my fan fiction, yes, I do write fan fiction, fuck you, every now and again, because, you know, outside of writing my own original stories, or at least attempting to do so, I do, on occasion, dabble into the bit of fan fiction. But anyways, in one of my fan fictions for Star Wars, I literally had a character motivation be, for my main character to be, he wants to get revenge on the Sith, because a Sith acolyte literally butchered and killed a Padawan colleague of his, and they were both children at the time, and so he basically got to watch as he was a helpless child, a helpless apprentice, an initiate, basically. He got to watch as the little youngling got basically dismembered from like little by little, piece by piece, just one limb here, one limb there, until she was literally nothing but a stump, and before immediately getting her fucking head chopped off. Yeah, that's pretty graphic. and that would definitely scar someone for life. And that was my motivation for his character. It was the biggest driving force to his emotional, his emotional trauma. That was his, and overcoming that trauma was essentially, and is essentially, because I do go back to it, is essentially still his driving motivation. So yeah, I mean, I try to use that in a way that's very effective. Open all security doors, why not? Security cameras, armory. Okay, switch. Oh. Look at all those people. Yes. Well, they're dead. Cool. Shut down garage elevator security system. Oh, I could have saved those computer spikes for this. Alright. I mean, I would have tried going in there to break them, but I don't remember if I died as a result of trying to do it. I remember dying to security systems at least at one point in this game. I just don't remember where and which it was. Alright, you get to just automatically level up. Oh, Zalbar leveled up too. Alright. I just auto-leveled the side characters. Oh. The fuck did you come from? I surrender, please, don't kill me. I'm not like these others. I'm not like Brejik and his new Volkers. What are you talking about? You're a Volker, aren't you? I'm a Volker, but I was here long before Brejik took over. I was a Volker back when it meant something. Back when we had honor. Then Brejik and his followers took over and turned our gang into a bunch of violent thugs and bloodthirsty punks. Now they treat us all original Volkers like second-class citizens. Take me, for example. I used to be one of the highest-ranking Volkers in the game. Now I'm stuck on guard duty here in the back, all thanks to Brejik. If you hate Brejik so much, why don't you leave the game? I've been trying to work up the courage to leave, but it's not that easy. Brejik's followers will try to hunt down anyone who leaves the Volker gang. He says he won't let traitors live. Ha! Brejik and his followers are the real traitors. They turned on Gadden, and now they slaughter the Beks in the streets, and anyone else they happen to run across. Brejik knows anyone with character will never willingly follow a leader like him, so he uses brutality and violence to stay in power. That's a very interesting sentence there, because it's absolutely fucking true. Brejik knows anyone with character will never willingly follow a leader like him, so he uses brutality and violence to stay in power. This is absolutely true. Absolutely true. Anyone who uses aggression and even the threat of violence is not a actual leader. That person is a fucking scumbag. And the moment anyone with actual character, the moment anyone who displays actual fucking competency and leadership, the moment someone like that shows up, everyone's gonna be looking to that person for answers and to help them through shit, and also for the next best thing, the next best decisions, the real choices. You know, they're gonna go to them for support. No one fucking cares about people who use the threat of violence as a means to get shit done, or just to get what they want, or to solve a situation. It's this is very true, and you would be surprised just how little that matters to some people, just how lacking that is, that little bit of information is across the board in the rest of the first world country that is America. It's like, look, the most they could do is fire you. Any act of violence is literally going to put them liable to being sued. And other than that, again, the most they can do is fire you. The most they can do is just fire you. And look, they could blackball you from like certain industries if you're high enough and you've been shaking hands with a lot of, and you've been brushing shoulders with some pretty powerful people. But it's like, bruh, it's only temporary. Money is temporary, and so is reputation. Reputation, a lot of the time, is very temporary. Depending on the level of merit that reputation holds. Like, you could get fired from your job for basically doing your job better than someone else, and eventually someone's going to recognize that. Someone is going to notice that, and they're going to be like, that shit doesn't seem right. And so you'll find a job anyways. You'll find something else anyways. All right, it doesn't matter what an entire industry thinks of you. I mean, hell, we have real life actual examples today of people getting unpersoned and people getting Me Too'd. And despite the fact that the allegations labeled, like, stacked against them were fundamentally fucking flawed or just absolutely wrong, these people still have jobs, or they managed to find new ones. They managed to still exist even now, in spite of all of these factors. And it's just like, well, clearly there is something wrong here. Clearly, there's some fuck shit going on here. And once people realize that, oh, there's some fuck shit here, then no one's going to take these things seriously. And you know, that's the funny thing. That's why the Me Too movement is such a joke. That's why every movement that under the sun is such a joke. It's because every movement falls based on the decisions of their weakest links, and also the pinnacle of the worst of their members. And by that I mean, like, you're only strong as your the old phrase of you're only as strong as your weakest link is very true, only because your reputation lives and dies by the kind of people you have under your banner. Alright, if the people you have working with you or working for you are absolute garbage human beings, and they make your company look like a fucking joke, or your movement look like a fucking joke on a daily basis, then you're liable to look like a fucking joke. You're liable to look like a fucking clown. And most people don't realize this. It's like, it's such a lost concept to people. Just like, wait, what's that? So you're saying that flipping cars and throwing Molotov cocktails into urban residential areas is a bad thing, and it makes us look bad? And it's just like, no shit, Sherlock. But we're just trying to do the good thing. We have nothing to do with these people, but it's just like, bitch, please. They are waving your banners, and they are doing this shit under your name. Regardless if they're actually members of your movement or not, or they're just fucking posers, they're making you look bad. You have to either do one or two things. You have to very clearly and specifically disassociate yourself from these people, or you have to literally condemn them, and not only just disassociate from these people, but condemn them and literally condemn them to the highest order. Just like, no, we have nothing to do with these people. We do not champion, we do not support these kind of causes. These people who are doing this are not a part of our movement. Fuck you, laptop. Are not a part of our movement, not a part of our company. They should be absolutely ridiculed and be completely and utterly destroyed for all of the shit that they've done to people. We do not support this. We do not condone this. We absolutely will. And if there are members, if there are people, are members of our organization are among them, we will take these people to task. We will make sure that they understand that this is unacceptable, and we will do it by either turning them in ourselves, or we will literally fire them or throw them out of the goddamn organization. And it's like, you could win so many people over. You could restore some faith that people have in your movement. And then if you also follow that up with, we will endeavor to make sure that something like this never happens again, and you actually attempt to do that, at least the only thing people can bitch and whine about is that, oh well, you're very ineffective at actually not starting riots. That's the only thing people can say. But no, because people don't do this, because people don't think about these sort of things, because they don't think about, like, oh well, not permanently disassociating ourselves from the actions of the few, you know, making us look bad and all. That's all you'll ever be remembered for, is being that one movement, that one company that has the worst fucking reputation because it's usually responsible for causing the most amount of mayhem. And this shouldn't be fucking hard. This should be fucking rocket science, but it is for some people, and it's so fucking shocking that some people are this dumb. That some people are literally this dumb. It's like, have you people learned nothing? Have you learned nothing from history? History is full of examples of this kind of shit not working out. And people always talk, and the funniest one, people always bitch and rave about wanting a revolution, about wanting a cultural and also countrywide revolution against all of the powers that be. But none of these people actually remember how effective that... No one remembers or even bothers to care about how that shit worked out during the French Revolution. Let me tell you an interesting story. Do you know about the guillotine? Do you know who invented the guillotine? The person who invented the guillotine, according to a story that I've heard, and according to some people who are actually people who have actually researched this shit, I haven't actually seen the actual historical records or any sort of documentations of it myself, but according to some, in the person who invented the guillotine, that person's invention got named after him, and that thing was primarily used to do what? That's right, it was made to be used to basically, you know, behead very effectively people who were deserving of being beheaded, according to the whims of both the masses and also the governments. And during the time of its invention, the people who were the most deserving of the guillotine at the time were revolutionaries, funny enough, and also political dissidents, people who just were outspoken naysayers of the government and were constantly stirring shit up, and also people who just didn't like people in the government, or even the bureaucracy. I don't know. I don't know exactly where the thing was invented or what time and place it took. The thing, like, this whole story took place in, but generally speaking, and I think it was during the time of the French Revolution. But basically, the story goes is that around maybe like the 50th or 60th public execution, people were getting real sick of the shit pretty quick. So many people had watched their friends, their families get beheaded, even if it was regardless if it was political dissidence or it was some kind of acts of terrorism or some kind of hatred against, like, the powers that be, whatever the fuck it was, it started really to piss people. It started to really piss people off, and I don't know if it was because of a switching their hands or otherwise, but eventually people looked to the guy who invented the fucking guillotine, and they're like, you know what, you fucker? You deserve to get your head chopped off. And you know what's funny? Is that the government absolutely obliged it. They absolutely obliged it. They got the motherfucker, they threw him onto his own invention and beheaded the poor son of a bitch. That is literally that is literally karma. If you think people are better, if you literally in the moral of the story here, if there is a moral of the story, is that regardless of the people who have power, whether it's the government or the people themselves, none of these people make the best decisions. None of these people are capable of making better decisions than, say, any other schmo off the street. And so there's a reason why we have checks and balances. There's a reason why we have systems in place to make sure that the best people get put in ahead of everyone else. And when those systems get abused, and when those systems inevitably tend to fail, instead of trying to rectify these issues, it takes usually some really fucked up shit to happen before people start going like, whoa, hold up, let's just braid it back a bit. Let's not do this. Let's just fucking look. Let's just look at this situation for what it is. Recognize it's fucking terrible and it's awful, and let's just try to walk this back a bit, and so that everyone could go back to their normal daily lives and potentially live better, far better, or at least far more reasonable existences than they were probably living before, or just doing whatever, or just try to rectify all of the things that led up to this moment. And it's just funny. This shit's funny. Man, I have been ranting nonstop this entire video. We have gotten literally nowhere. It's almost on the first hour mark, and we're still in the first level of the Volker base. Anyways. Let's see. But, let's see. I'm going... You better give me some information if you... You know what? I'm gonna let you live. Go on, get out of here. Thanks. Thanks a lot. And don't worry, I won't cause any trouble for you on the way out. In fact, I hope you take Brejik and his Volkers down. Well, that resolved without any bloodshed. But yeah. People are fucking stupid, man. Especially your lowest common denominators. We need to keep those people out of any sort of decision making. Keep those people out of every facet of decision making. Alright? Because they're not capable of that shit. They are not capable of making good decisions, and there's a reason why I refer to them in that sense. Though when I say lowest common denominator, I mean our by far our most stupid and incapable people on the planet. Reactivate droid. Nope.
Huh?
Let's see if I remember correctly. There are mines down here. Oh shit! But yeah, despite the fact that there are mines down here, good old mission can't seem to detect them. A little disappointing. Well, she's already dying. Might as well have her do it all. There we go. And now she's back up. Thank you for taking the full brunt of that nonsense there, mission. We already checked this room. We don't need to do it any further. But yeah, it's just dumb. People are dumb. You should never let groups of people make any decisions. But at the same time, you shouldn't have one person be able to have all the power either.
Hey, Big Z, we gotta do something about your breath. I didn't want to say anything, but it's bad. Worse than usual, which is hard to believe. In fact, now that I think about it, your breath has been pretty rancid ever since we rescued you from those Gamorrean slavers. What'd they feed you, buddy? Oh, Zalbar, that's terrible. I know how grouchy you get if you don't get your 8 square meals a day. I'm amazed you didn't pass out from hunger.
Oh, I should probably be reading that, huh?
Ew! No wonder your breath is so bad, Big Z. Gamorreans smell like bantha poodoo. We'll have to pick you up a toothbrush to clean that stench out of your choppers.
Wookiees do not brush their teeth, mission. It just isn't done. What humiliation will you use on me next? A comb?
Okay, relax. No toothbrush. Sheesh. Just Try and eat something else to cover up that smell, okay? Stay away from anything that's smart enough to lock you in a cage this time.
Sigh. I'll take care of it as soon as I can, mission. For now, let's stay focused on the task at hand. A Wookiee sighing. That's interesting. What does a sigh sound like in Wookiee? But yeah. Yeah. It's, I'm just gonna move on from that earlier subject. But, yeah. In case you couldn't get the context, as it turns out, Zalbar was locked in there, and the reason why his breath stinks so badly is because, you know, as a result of not being able to eat, he had, when a Gamorrean got close enough to his cage, well, or, you know, just, you know, let their guard down as they were near the room that he was locked up in, he had taken the Gamorrean's arm, ripped that shit off, and, as a result of having been locked up in there for a while, because he got hungry, and because he had a Gamorrean's arm, he's just like, you know what? I'm gonna eat that shit. And so he did. And now that's why his breath smells so bad. Alright. So yeah, that was the conversation in a nutshell.
What?
I don't know if I want to just have Mission go back so she can heal up or what. You know what? I'll have her use an advanced med pack. There. She's almost good as new. Almost. Okay.
Yes?
Have I gone through all the places yet? I guess I could take the time to go check for any rooms that are still locked, I guess. I feel like I've seen everything by this point, though. I got so I got so sidetracked from the ramblings. The ever-evolving ramblings that is the shit that I think about. But you can forgive me because it at least fills up a lot of the white noise that is the gameplay sometimes. Because, you know, a lot of it is just, a lot of the gameplay so far has just been combat, very stale-looking combat with dialogue bits here and there. But anyways, yeah. It's that's that story. But yeah, it's I keep saying that, huh? I keep saying that. I have a problem, and it's called my brain doesn't function when I have nothing else to work with. I'm starting to think that maybe I should give myself some conversational points while I record, but it's like that would just seem completely inauthentic, and I would rather just be genuine. And plus, if I was streaming, that might be, I wouldn't have to rely on just myself. I could just look at a fucking chat. But I'm not exactly a big channel. I mean, as of this recording, the most views I get is literally like in the double digits. And it's not even that big in double digits. Like, I think the highest I've gotten is 23 views on a fucking Metroid video. It was 23 views on Metroid Zero mission. That's not a whole lot of views. This is pretty early in the channel career. And while I wouldn't mind if it actually became a career, my goal isn't necessarily to make this into a career. It's just to have fun. It's mainly just to have fun. But if I could turn this into something that'll actually make me some money on some level, I won't fucking hate that either. I don't think anyone would. I think most people would like that. Most Zoomers certainly would like that. They would love to have this job. Hell, even millennials would like to have this job. The only reason why they don't have this job is because it takes a long fucking time, if ever, for you to actually get anywhere. Oh. Hey, buddy. Let's go ahead and switch everyone out and get them ready to start killing people. Zalbar can go screw that guy's day over. I'm gonna go ahead and have Mission snipe this person from over here. character is having some really bad rolls or some shit because this is not going well. No, he's almost dead anyways. There we go. Done with that shit.
What?
I really hope the remake of this game is gonna turn out good. I really do. What just happened? Zalbar, where are you going? Zalbar, buddy, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? No, wait. God damn it. Mission, why do you have to run up to the enemy? You have a blaster. Stand away from a distance with using your blaster. What the fuck are you actually doing?
Yeah?
Oh, well, you collected it that time.
Yes?
Meanwhile, Protag over here is having a hard time with his health being so low. Schmack! And now my ears are itchy a little bit. Oh. Wow, they're just gonna melee me. Okay. Oh, wait, then he pulls out the sword after he tries to roundhouse kick me. Fucking Volker Norris over here. I mean, I already know how this stuff works, so... Prototype Vibroblade. I will definitely put a new thing in that. So give me a second. I'm gonna try unplugging my, I'm gonna try unplugging this thing. Alright, now we just go ahead and turn the capture card off and then on again. I probably could have just done it that way instead of unplugging it, but... Okay, because it felt like the sound was off for a bit. It felt like the sound was off. Even dialogue felt like it was a little lagging behind the sound. Let's see how well this goes. Oh, it's sealed. I know how this shit works. Of course. They're all locked. I guess I'll take this time to look for that swoop engine. Already looked in here. I guess it's not on this side. Maybe it's somewhere else. Nope. Hello. Don't mind me, just here to steal your shit. Damn, Protag wasted no time with that. I'm not slicing computers.
Huh?
I'm gonna have mission do it. I think just having her in the party kind of does that automatically, but... Security, garage. Overload swoop bikes? No. That's this room. Loading bay. Oh, there's people in the engine lab. And I can't do anything to the engine lab. That'd just be too convenient. Garage head key card. Improve energy cell.
What?
Alright.
Hey, Big Z, don't take this the wrong way, but lately, I've noticed you're starting to look a little bit scruffy.
Scruffy? What are you talking about? I hope you weren't suggesting I take a bath.
No, I'm not suggesting a bath. I know how well that went over last time. But your hair's getting all tangled. And if you look close, you can see a few gray strands starting to poke through.
You're making this up. I groom every day. My hair is not tangled, and it's not going gray. She's got a point Zalbar. You could use a good makeover. Zalbar looks fine to me. Zalbar looks fine to me, indeed.
Don't worry, Big Z. It's nothing I can't fix. A little trim, a splash of coloring, and you'll be as good as new. Best looking Wookiee on the planet. Maybe a nice suit.
You don't trim a Wookiee. You don't color a Wookiee. And you certainly don't dress a Wookiee.
I know, Wookiees aren't into the whole clothing thing, but you could start a whole new trend. You'd be on the cutting edge.
Rah, leave me alone.
Okay, sheesh. Try to offer some constructive criticism, and this is the thanks I get? Let's move on. You can just stay naked and scruffy for all I care.
These two have been together for how long? And they haven't established any sort of parameters here. Can't open that. Alright. This is gonna blow over very well. Now we do this. Let's see if I don't die in the first encounter. Looks like we have visitors. Lackey's conned by Gadden Thek into trying to steal Brechik's swoop engine accelerator, I bet.
Breshik stole that engine from Gadden. It was never yours to begin with.
Well, I didn't go to all the trouble of acquiring this prototype just so you could steal it back for that old fool. Would you like me to dispose of these Beck spies, Gadden? No, hold on a second. I see you are wearing the hidden Beck colors, so I'm guessing you aren't part of that feeble old man's gang. You must be a freelance mercenary. You're right, I'm not one of the hidden Becks. You're right, I'm not one of the hidden Becks. My name's Aiden Kasra. Instead of stealing the prototype for the Becks, why don't you come work for us? The Black Vultures could use someone like you. You've got my attention. What's your offer? Instead of stealing the prototype, why don't you come work for us? The Black Vultures could use someone like you. Forget it. I know all about you, Black Vultures. Be smart. Gadden Thek is old news. He's a blind fool in more ways than one. Brechik is a visionary. Soon he'll control the entire lower city. And don't shackle yourself to a losing team. How about I just kill you instead? Forget it, I'm not going to betray Gadden. I can see there's not much chance of convincing you to come work for us after all. Most unfortunate. Now can I kill them, Gadden? Candon? Whatever your fucking name is. Yes, darling. Kill them. Kill them all. And then I'm gonna kill you all and eat you all raw. Was he right? He said he'd eat me. Nah, he was just joking. You wouldn't actually eat us, would you? And then I'd pick my teeth with your bones. It's probably the best thing that came out of SWTOR when I was playing Sith Warrior class and just being an absolute dipshit and the entire time, and then just being the most threatening son of a bitch out of everyone. And even just when you're about to scare them off and not have to do the battle encounter, your character has the option to be like, too late. And then they're fucking so scared by that point, the one Weasley looking guy is just like, every man for himself. Oh man. Probably the best part that came out of SWTOR. Jesus. I'm gonna have to turn on my shields. This blaster fire is killing me. Okay. In fact, while the Wookiee's dealing with that, I'm gonna go kill these guys over in the background over here. Hey, character. You freaking idiot. Well, that's great. We didn't die. Alright, let me see here. We're level 6. I mean, I could probably level up a couple more times before I just decide to cap it here, but I don't know. You know what? I'll keep the level where it is and see how far it gets me.
Yeah?
Alright. And we got the prototype swoop engine. And yes, I do sell every fucking mine I acquire. Because I don't use them. I've never used mines. Not once. I don't ever use them in my playthrough, so I'm just like, why do I have these things if I don't ever use them? Might as well should just sell them, and it makes money to sell them. I mean, let me take a look at my credits. Yeah, 2,000 credits? That wasn't something that I earned as much as I had literally just fucking pawned off all the mines I collected. Wait a minute.
Someone's gonna get hurt.
Oh, she didn't actually do it. I was expecting her to do it, but she didn't do it. She can't mine blow up. She can't blow up the stupid door.
Sure.
Black Vulcar base. Heading back. Ugh. I understand Galactic Basic, it's the Republic trade language. Yeah, game, stop complaining. Actually, I think I'm taking the long way around. Yeah, I'm taking the long way around. Alright. And we're out of here. The end of the Mandalorian War came 4 years ago and should have brought an age of peace. It didn't. Well, no. It didn't, because then what got replaced by that was the Sith. And the Sith led by the hero of the entire war. That was fun. That was fun. Okay. Let's just go back to the apartment for a second. And then let's just go back to the place. Go back exactly to where we were. I heard, oh yeah, I did hear that they were going to outsource the development of the Metal Gear remake that we didn't know we didn't know existed until the PlayStation Showcase. But now that we know it's a thing, and it does exist, and it's for MGS3 of all things, which, I mean, out of all the games you could remake, why not the original game? But anyways, I digress. Now we know that there's an MGS3 remake. Who the fuck is making it? Because I don't think it's Konami. And if it is Konami, God help us all. But I mean, like, if it is being outsourced to a different developer, who is it? Because I can only think of a few people, either Bluepoint or Aspire, and Aspire's already busy doing some Star Wars bullshit. Well, actually, no. I'm sorry. They were busy doing some Star Wars bullshit, but then Sony was like, well, that's actually not great, because it's not God of War level cool, and it's also not cinematically driven like Naughty Dog games. And look, look, that's coming off the cuff of Last of Us Part 2, and yeah, comparing anything to Naughty Dog level of cinematic quality is like, right now, is like, it's like, what's the best way to describe it? It's like, it's kind of like comparing, I can't think of it. But anyways, right now Naughty Dog has a sort of like a rather, a kind of a shit reputation right now. They've been making a few mistakes ever since that game. One of them being the fact that they even made the game in the first place in the way that they did, and also the story developments that they used, which I guess they fired the writing team, or they had the wrong people at the helm of the directing or writing of the game, because that fucking that story. Anyways, either way, other than the fact that Last of Us Part 2 exists, and also the fact that their PC port of the first game was dog shit, the only other thing that I can give Naughty Dog shit for is literally having a black eye. For just having those two hiccups, I guess. But yeah, I just... comparing anything to Naughty Dog right now, especially after the complete bungling of Last of Us Part 2, it's like I wouldn't make any comparisons involving that company when the biggest black eye is creating the worst story-driven revenge plot I had ever seen put to video game.
You have returned. You have the prototype swoop engine accelerator with you?
Granted, it's the prettiest fucking disaster I've ever seen, but I also don't like the idea of watching two... I don't... Look. Let me put it to you like this. Sony is so... And this is actually... Actually, I can't even really blame Naughty Dog for it. That's mainly a Sony problem, but the point is that I don't need to watch a golden turd. I don't need to play a golden turd. I don't need to watch or play a golden turd. Alright? A turd is still a turd at the end of the day, no matter how good you polish it. Alright? It doesn't matter if it's golden. It doesn't matter if it's made out of gold. It's literally just a turd. Nobody wants that. Nobody. Not a single person. And I'm gonna save that other bit until after this conversation, because I could go on and on about that other one. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it in another video, but I love the idea of using this as using Naughty Dog as an example, since Sony wants to use Naughty Dog as an example for the kind of quality they expect from other video games. I'm gonna start using Naughty Dog as an example to how Sony treats most of its other video games. All right. Let's just get back in. Let's just do this conversation real quick. You have returned. Do you have the prototype swoop engine accelerator with you? I have the accelerator right here.
I was beginning to wonder if you would make it. The race is tomorrow, and my mechanics need time to install the prototype into the swoop engine of our bike.
Okay, I lived up to my end of the deal. Now you better come through.
Don't worry. I'm a man of my word. I promised you could ride in the swoop race under the Hidden Beck banner, and I'm still going to let you do that. And I'm even going to go one better. I'm going to let you ride the swoop bike with the prototype accelerator installed on it. Without it, you won't stand a chance.
Gadden, you can't be serious. We need one of our best riders on that bike. We can't let some rookie take the prototype engine into the race.
Why are you doing this, Gadden? Zadra's right. Yeah, Zadra's right, Gadden. One of your riders should get that swoop bike.
I have to be honest with you. There's a reason I'm letting you take the prototype engine. The accelerator isn't stable. There's a good chance it could explode during the race. I can't ask one of my own riders to take the risk. They'll be running unmodified swoops in the race. You'll be the only one using the prototype. If you can complete the track before the accelerator overheats, then you'll win for the Becks. If you die, then one of my other riders could still come through for me.
You've got all your bases covered. Boy, is that a fucking understatement. I also see how you like to use people, Gadden. You remind me of some... Do I want to go there? You remind me of some of my bosses at work. Only instead of setting me up to potentially fail, instead of setting me up to potentially fail, they just set me up with more work. That's literally all they do. It's still funny, though. It's still funny to make that comparison. It sounds like you've got all your bases covered.
You don't get to be leader of a swoop gang if you don't know how to work all the angles.
Okay, I'm ready for the race.
You can stay here tonight. The mechanics need time to install the accelerator on the engine, so you won't be able to practice your riding. But I've got good instincts, and you have the look of a racer about you. Just try to relax, and in the morning we'll take you to the swoop track.
Yeah, swoop bike racing isn't too terrible. It's just, it gets kind of repetitive after a while. You spend a restless night in the Beck base. In the morning, one of the Becks takes you to the swoop racing pits where only racers and mechanics are allowed to go. Cool. So you're the one who's going to ride this swoop bike, eh? Don't worry, I've been working on the accelerator and stability won't be a problem, I hope. Gadden mentioned that you've never done this before. You want me to run over the basics of handling a swoop bike for you? Sure, tell me how it's done. It's pretty simple, really. First, try not to crash into anything. There's debris and obstacles scattered all over the course, so watch out. All swoops are equipped with dynamic deflector systems, so hitting an obstacle won't cause you to crash, but it will shake you up a bit and slow you down. The track also has accelerator panels built into its surface. If you fly over one, it'll give your swoop a boost of speed, so try to hit them when you see them. When the engine starts running hot, you'll get a warning and you'll have to switch gears. Other than that, just try to hang on. You'll be fine. Okay, let's start the race. Hold on, I better explain the rules to you. Each rider goes out on the track alone, and at the end of the day, whoever posted the fastest time is the winner. Normally a rider can run as many heats as they want, but I don't know how long the prototype accelerator on your swoop will hold. No more than 4 or 5 races, I guess. So make your runs count. Gadden's put his trust in you. We need to win this race or Brechik's Volkers will get a whole bunch of new recruits. If that happens, we're finished. Alright, I won't let you down. Sounds like you're ready. Go talk to the race announcer over by the counter. He'll give you the time to beat and get you out on the course. I'll be waiting for you here after the run so I can make any tweaks or repairs to your swoop in case you want to go out for another heat. Good luck and don't worry about the prototype overheating and exploding while you're out on the track. That probably won't happen. I love how he said probably. They put like fucking they put like little rosy little tags, little hashtags next to it. It's not really a hashtag, but you get the point. Anyways, yeah. But yeah, like I was going to say earlier, since Sony likes to compare things to Naughty Dog, let me tell you how Sony treats some game developers and some video games compared to some of their most prized game developers. And Naughty Dog is clearly one of them. And let me tell you something. What they've done to anime games is a crime. And it's absolute dog shit. And I will fucking throw Sony under every bus imaginable for their poor treatment of anime games. Look, I'm not gonna say that they should definitely not police the kind of shit that makes it over to the West, because Sony's been doing that even before they became a US-based company, alright? But ever since becoming a US-based company, they've been shafting their Japanese developers, and even for just releases in Japan. And to me, I'm just like, bruh, that's kind of fucked up. We don't come into your country and tell you how to live your fucking life, Sony. Oh, I'm sorry. You live in the States now. That's right. I forgot. You're an American company now. The head of your company is a guy whose last name is fucking Ryan. You're no longer a Japanese corporation. My bad, I forgot. But yeah, the point being is this. They treat Japanese developers with such disgust, and it just appalls me. It appalls me. It appalls me to a point to where I literally I literally facepalm when I see the clear disparity between how certain games are handled. Like, for example, there's ass fucking in The Last of Us Part 2. You literally watch a transitioning person, I guess? I don't know. I don't care because because I've never played the game first off, and secondly, I don't care enough about any of the characters in the second game to really want to remember their names or bother to give a shit as to what their fucking orientation is. But yeah, one of the people who you play as, who also murders Joel pretty early on in the game, who's like one characters you wanted to see and you wanted to play as throughout the entirety of Last of Us Part 2 when it came out, that person gets butt-fucked by some random schmo who you don't really care about either. And they were all willing to show all of the rather gratuitous graphical nature of those people getting real intimate and wanting to bump uglies and just kind of go feral for a solid minute before, you know, jumping right into it. And they definitely showed that. They showed everything leading up to it and also them jumping right into it. And it's just like, well, that's just needlessly pornographic. That's just needlessly graphic. I didn't need to see that. And then I see the way they treat anime games, and I'm like, okay, so ass fucking between literally like almost realistic human beings is god awful. It's not god awful. It's good. It's great. It's fucking artistic. But the moment you see fucking cartoon characters in Japan do anything close to it, it's like, oh no, that shit's just awful. We gotta get that shit out of here. And you don't even need to look at the way they handled the Japanese animated games. Look at fucking Devil May Cry. There's a reason why people bring this shit up so often. It's a reason why I always harp on about it myself. Look at the way they treat the female characters of Devil May Cry. They have to censor ass shots. They have to censor ass shots with lens flares. Because an ass shot is just too much for Sony. An ass shot is just too much for Sony. Too much for potentially Capcom as well. And I'm just like, but ass fucking is completely okay, Sony? Ass fucking? In my Last of Us Part 2 video game? Fuck you. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. And look, it has to be fucking Sony. It has to be the video game console distributor, the publisher basically, the secondary publisher, because it's not a problem on Xbox. There are no lens flares on Xbox. If memory serves me right, you have none of that shit on Xbox. But on PlayStation, you had all of that shit on PlayStation. And I'm like, that's some bullshit. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself, Sony. And look, I don't know if any Xbox executive is gonna watch this video, but hey, anyone from Xbox, Phil Spencer, whoever the fuck, you guys want to cash in on a market that's severely underutilized? Get those fucking anime games, bruh. You got the opportunity. You got the ability. You got the motive, and you're working for you're a part of Microsoft. Use that Microsoft dollars. Get that shit in there. Get that shit in there today, tomorrow, next year. I don't care. Fucking get this shit in there stat. Get that shit on your consoles. Become the next best console to ever grace the Japanese and American and Western markets, that merges the two markets together in such a way to where not even fucking Sony, back in its heyday when it didn't actually give a shit and it was still a Japanese-based company, could not even possibly dream of having. Make that shit lit. Make that shit even better. Make your relationships with the Japanese studios even better than Sony. That shit will take you to so many places. So many places. You could be the console for all of the great visual novels, for all of the new visual novel projects. You could literally make Xbox the console for all Japanese related media and then some. But you have to be willing to let the Japanese people vet their own content. You have to be willing to let them actually vet their own content. Don't fucking give a shit about, like, vetting it yourself. Don't vet it yourself. In fact, just let them do their thing, and they will make you money. Alright? Look at every fucking Western developer or publisher that has ever existed and has told... you know what? In fact, look at Netflix. Look at what they've done to live-action versions of some of the most beloved anime franchises. Look at what these people have done to studios who they've hired to make or Netflix original products in animation. They're usually kind of garbage, and it's or just lacking in some way, and it's because it's not Japanese enough. It's not that kind of entertainment that feels particularly inspired and crafted with that kind of flavor you expect from a Japanese studio or from Japanese media. That's why they fucking fail so hard and so consistently. That is always why they are so bad at it. It's because they're not letting the creatives just do their own fucking thing. They're just telling them what they can and can't do. And they have guidelines that must be met, and it's just like, bitch, please, just let these fucking people make their shit. And you could just fuck right the hell off and just go do your own thing. Make your own money. Anyways, my point being is this. There's such a massive disparity between what companies say and what they actually do. And it's always so funny to witness, because I always love pointing that shit out so hard. Disney's like this, Sony's like this. I don't think Xbox has done anything that severely stupid quite yet. Ubisoft has been doing some shit that's kind of fucked too. But all in all, it's very funny to me. It's all just very funny to me. It's like every fucking publisher and Western video game company follows the rules of do as I say, not as I do. Which doesn't inspire a whole lot of confidence. You're here to race, right? Okay, let's see who your sponsor is. Ah, you're ready for the hidden backs, I see. Oh, I always liked them. I hope they can show these Volkers a thing or two, but I digress. Okay, you're registered now. Good luck, and try not to get yourself killed. We've only lost one rider today, and we want to keep it that way. Whenever you're ready, you can hit the track. Okay, what's the time to beat? Well, Retros has the best time so far, 38 minutes and 43 seconds. Good, but not the best I've ever seen. I don't know if it will stand up. I want to race one of my heats. Okay, let's get you out there on the track. Now, I'm going to try to purposely not get the best time I could possibly get, because I know how this fucking game works. Press A to accelerate, shift gears, to accelerate to shift gears, use the left stick to avoid obstacles and hit accelerator pads. Great. Well, I ended up getting a pretty good time anyways, it looks like. Even when I wasn't trying to try. You did it. You got the top time. You just beat racers who've been doing this for 20 years. This is amazing. Someone who's never ridden a swoop before today comes in here and, wait a minute, I don't believe this. Look at the board. One of the Volkers just beat your time. Who? Ah, it was Redros. I should have known. Oh. Well, what was the new time? Time so far, 25:60. Good, but not the best I've ever seen. I don't know if it will stand up. I mean... Okay. So I just have to beat 25:60? Got it. obstacles kind of does that to you. Good run, good run. You didn't post about the top time, but that's okay. I checked out your swoop, and you should be okay for a few more. Yeah. Alright, I should probably save my game. At least for right here. So in case I end up fucking this up somehow, but... Nope. Didn't need to go all the way around. Here we go. Try this again. Damn it. I believe I have to do it one more time. You did it in 20 years. I've never seen anybody handle a swoop like that before. Nobody's gonna beat that time. I guess Gad knew what he was doing. He picked you to ride for us. Now the only thing is to wait for the time to become official and go collect your prize. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the winner of this year's swoop race. Put your hands together and show your appreciation for one of the most daring riders this swoop track has ever seen. Through your skill and courage, you have proven yourself the premier swoop rider on Terrace, and brought great glory to the Hidden Beck gang. Now, here to present the champion's prize, Bridget, leader of the Black Vulkers.
People, hear me! Before I present the so-called champion of the Becks with their prize, there is something you must know. The winning rider cheated.
You better not be trying to cheat me, Bridget.
Your swoop bike was using a prototype accelerator. Clearly an unfair advantage. Because of this hidden Beck treachery, I'm withdrawing the Vulgar's share of the victory prize.
You can't do this, Bridget. You know the rules. Nobody's allowed to withdraw a victory prize after the race. It goes against all of the most sacred traditions.
You old fool. Your traditions are nothing to me. I am the wave of the future. If I want to withdraw the prize and sell this woman on the slave market myself, nobody can stop me.
I might have something to say about that, Brejik.
God. Could we possibly make him more evil? Maybe have him eat an apple while he's saying it.
You were restrained by a neural disruptor. How could you have possibly summoned the will to free yourself?
You underestimate the strength of a Jedi's mind, Brejik. A mistake you won't live to regret.
Vulcus, to me! Kill this woman! Kill the swoop rider! Kill them all!
Not if I kill you first. Let's see. If I know how this goes, he's likely going to try and kill Basila first. I don't know. I'm going to assume he's going to try and kill Basila first. Let's see. He's got a blaster. One of them's got a vibroblade. I'm going to go ahead and use an energy shield. Oh, he's going straight for Basila. Well, hang on. I didn't want that. Why do you always have to auto go to people? No, that's not what I asked. Oh. Wow. That's so pitiful. They're so pathetically weak. Holy crap. Up. And he's dead. No, don't talk to Basila. Jesus Christ. Oh. Double-bladed lightsaber, his belt, his armband, his gloves. Jesus, he's got the whole shebang. Alright. Well, we finally did it, guys. We did it, boyos. We rescued Bastila. Let's all rejoice in this moment. Let's see what the pretty maiden has to say. Let's see how grateful this amazing Jedi warrior is going to be when she sees that we've done all of this. We went through all of this trouble just to rescue her. It's gonna be great, guys. We're probably gonna get medals for this shit. It's gonna be like the end of A New Hope.
Well, maybe those bloody Vulkars will think twice next time before trying to keep a Jedi prisoner. And as for you, if you think you can collect me as a prize... Wait, I don't believe this. You're one of the soldiers with the Republic fleet, aren't you? Yes, I'm sure of it. How did you end up racing for these swoop gangs?
My name's Aiden Cassera. I'm here to save you.
Save me. Is that what you were trying to accomplish by riding in that swoop race? Well, as far as rescues go, this is a pretty poor example. In case you hadn't noticed, I managed to free myself from that neural restraint collar without your help. In fact, it's more accurate to say that I saved you. Brejik and his Vulkars would have left you for dead if I hadn't stepped into that fight. You're lucky I was here to get you out of this mess.
Man, just so grateful. I'm totally touched. My cheeks are pink. They are peached. They are pinched with all kinds of feelings right now. I feel so elated, so titillated, that I am going to go back to my apartment feeling truly accomplished and truly proud of myself for everything I have done. Thank you, Bastila. You've made every ounce of effort I went through to save you all the more worth it. Anyways, I think you've got things confused. You were a helpless prisoner until I came along.
I may have been a prisoner, but a Jedi is never helpless. Maybe you've heard of a little thing called the Force, but I suppose I shouldn't be too hard on you. You did try to save me after all, even if it didn't go quite as planned. So let's get down to business. We're not out of danger yet. If I'm going to figure out a way for us to get off this planet, I need to know what kind of resources we can draw on. First, are we the only two survivors left from the Ender Spire?
No. It's just me, Karth, and, yeah, it's just me and Karth. Karth and I are already working on a plan to get off Taurus.
Karth Onasi is alive. Finally, some good news. Karth is one of the Republic's best soldiers. He's proved himself a hero a dozen times over. And he sent you here to save me. Maybe I misjudged you. Karth wouldn't have sent you if he wasn't confident in your abilities. Forgive me. Despite my Jedi training, I still tend to act a bit rashly sometimes. Please take me to Karth right away. Between the three of us, I'm sure we can figure out some way to get off this planet before the Sith realize we're here.
Okay. Okay. Fuck, that came in kind of loud. That's still coming in kind of loud. Sorry for all the fucking headphone users, Jesus.
You cannot win, Revan.
Bastila, you're alive! Finally, things are looking up. Now we just need to figure out a way to get off this planet.
You mean you don't have a plan to get off Taurus yet? What have you been doing all this time?
Last time I checked, it was saving your fucking fat ass. And what a delightfully fat ass it is. Anyways, yeah. Stuck up, rashly, huh? Stuck up and a little, what's the word? I guess prideful? No, that's still stuck up. Stuck up and rashly, sure. Bratty even. Yeah, I think you need to add a little bit more to that list of things that you need to kind of improve upon when you refer to yourself. Also, what should I say here? We were trying to find you, remember? Don't worry, we'll figure something out. I'm getting a little sick of your attitude, Bastila. We were trying to find you, remember?
I see. Now that I'm back in charge of this mission, perhaps we can start doing things properly. Hopefully our escape from Taurus will go more smoothly than when you rescued me from Brejik.
I know you're new at this, Bastila, but a leader doesn't berate her troops just because things aren't going as planned. Don't let your ego get in the way of the real issues here.
That hardly strikes me as an appropriate way of addressing your commander, Karth. I am a member of the Jedi Order, and this is my mission. Don't forget that. My battle meditation ability has helped the Republic many times in this war, and it will serve us well here, I am sure.
Your talents might win us a few battles, but that doesn't make you a good leader. A good leader would at least listen to the advice of those who have seen more combat than she ever will.
Jesus. Fucking Karth's got a point, though. Yeah, Bastila, you may outrank most of us, but you're not exactly inspiring a whole lot of confidence from us either. He's right. You aren't showing much leadership ability right now, Bastila. Karth, you can't talk to your commanding officer like that. Both of you settle down. This isn't helping. I want to be the mediator here, but I feel like I need to nip this in the bud right now too.
You know, I had my doubts about this mission, but I figured the Jedi Council wouldn't put you in charge if you weren't prepared. But here you are, acting like a spoiled child.
I see. It's true that I don't have much military experience. Perhaps I should not be so quick to judge. Very well, Karth. What do you suggest we do?
First off, we can't get hung up on who's in charge. We all need to work together if we want to get off this rock. The answer is out there. We just have to find it.
Well said, Karth. And the sooner we start looking, the better. I've already been a prisoner of the Vulkars, and I don't plan on being captured by the Sith.
I don't think any of us want to be captured by the Sith. Don't worry, I won't let that happen. Let's go find a way off this planet. Okay, so what now?
I think we'll need some help getting off Terrace. Maybe if we ask around, one of the locals can help us out. We should probably start by asking around in the cantinas. Is something wrong? You seem as if something's troubling you.
Just out of a conversation to get into another one. Something weird happened when we first met, like a vision.
A vision? A vision of what?
Of you fighting a dark Jedi, Revan, I guess.
It's strange. Such visions are often a sign of Force sensitivity.
Are you saying I can use the Force?
I'm not sure. It may be that you have some connection to the Force. It would not be unheard of. When we first met, your natural talent may have fed off my own Force abilities. It is possible that in the excitement of the battle's aftermath, the Force allowed you to witness one of my more intense memories.
So, does this mean I could be a Jedi?
The Force is complicated. Even I, with all my training, cannot fully understand it yet. This is a matter best left to the wise masters of the Jedi Council. Once we escape Terrace, we can seek the guidance of the Council if you wish. They will understand the significance of your vision, if there is any. However, I think it would be best if we all stayed focused on the task at hand right now. We can't afford any distractions. We need to find a way off Terrace.
Yeah, because the Jedi Council are truly some of the wisest people in the entire Star Wars galaxy, right? They totally haven't led us astray before. Not yet. Well, they don't have any crystals for it, but... Nothing in here. Nothing to put in here. Oh, I can give Karth some stuff. Now his blaster's even better than before. I don't think Zalbar's ever going to be using that shit. Huh? Huh? Oh, I was about to fucking say, what the fuck happened to that glove? That was weird. Let's just unequip that for a second. Prejic's armband. Resist 5 to versus slashing. Yeah, why not? Oh my god, what the hell? Dude. Okay, this is weird. I'm kind of getting worried about equipment shit now because it feels like it's just getting interdimensionally pocketed into some unknown part of like game files or some shit. That's just weird. Well, let's just talk to Bastila some more, see what she has to say.
How can I help?
You want to talk to me about something?
I would like to know what happened after you crashed on Taurus. I'm curious as to what you and Karth were doing before we all joined forces.
Before we rescued you, you mean?
I managed to free myself, as I recall. In fact, if I hadn't been there, Brezhik and his thugs might have killed you in that fight. It's probably more accurate to say that I rescued you.
Wow. You really get hung up on those details, don't you? Well, I mean, it's not a competition, but I mean, if you really want to get technical, I've been putting more bodies on this planet than you have, so if you want to be real technical, I was doing most of the legwork while you were just sitting happily in your cage until someone came around to give you that opportunity that led to you as freeing yourself, so yeah. I think you need to kind of step back a little bit there, Missy. Jedi or not, you're kind of a bit of a fish out of water here. And also, you really do stand out, seeing as the Sith are hunting you down. You have a pretty notable face. Stands to reason that just about anyone off the fucking streets of this planet is gonna recognize you. So, yeah. You'd probably be up shit creek if we weren't here to back you up. So let's just calm down a little bit there. Anyways, can't you just admit that you were rescued? You didn't escape the Black Vulkars until we arrived, as I recall. Yeah, let's just throw it back in her face.
I'll admit that I probably wouldn't have been able to free myself if not for the brawl after the swoop race. I guess I should thank you for that, at least. Actually, your presence at the swoop track is what I'm curious about. It couldn't have been an easy task to find me there, yet somehow you managed. You also avoided detection by the Sith, discovered I was a Vulkar prisoner, gained sponsorship for the race, and became the Taurus swoop champion. That's quite a resume.
Well, I mean, yeah. And rescue the damsel in distress, don't forget. I had a lot of help. Karth, Mission, Zalbar. I had a lot of help. Yeah, Karth, Mission, and Zalbar.
Your modesty is admirable. But though others helped, you were the catalyst for these events. When you were chosen to join this mission, I doubt any of us expected this much from you. A Jedi could have done such things, of course, but only by drawing heavily upon the Force.
Okay, are you trying to say I can control the Force? I think you're underestimating us non-Jedi. This kind of leads back into that conversation, but are you trying to say I can control the Force?
The Force is in all of us, though for most people it's barely a measurable whisper. But there are some individuals outside the Jedi Order that we consider Force-sensitive. It's obvious to me that the Force has been working through you. There is no other explanation for your great success, though I'm not certain what to make of this discovery. Perhaps if you weren't... well, if you were younger, the Jedi might take you for training. But as it is...
Yeah, being a grown-ass man and all doesn't exactly work for Jedi material. You people like to indoctrinate your people when they're young and impressionable. Let's see. What are you trying to say? Be glad I'm Force-sensitive, or I couldn't have... Be glad I'm Force-sensitive, or I couldn't have rescued you.
Ah, yes, the rescue again. Very well, for what it's worth, I concede the point to you. You rescued me from Brezhik, and yet we're still stuck here on Taurus. Hopefully, between your abilities, my Jedi training, and the skills of our companions, we can find a way off this planet.
Yep, that is true. Hopefully all of us combined can do something. Man, isn't it amazing though? BioWare was championing the personality trait of tsunderes before tsundere was even a damn thing. Isn't that great? Isn't that amazing? They were pushing tsunderes before it was popular. Or maybe, well, at least not here in the West. Who do I want to take with me? I always want to take Mission because she's gonna cover a lot of the bases that I don't have. And my character just naturally does not have.
Yin
You there, human. You are the rider who won the great swoop race in the lower city, yes? That's right. I have a message from Canderous Ordo. He says to meet him in the cantina. Canderous? Isn't he that Mandalorian that works for Davik? Yes, that's the one. Given his connections, you can see why it would be wise to attend this meeting. Canderous didn't say why he wanted to meet you. He only said he had an offer you couldn't refuse. Given his connections, you can see why it would be foolish to ignore his request. Thanks for the message. I'll go meet him in the cantina. Okay, I got the message. Thanks for the message. I'll go meet him in the cantina. A wise choice, human. I would advise you not to wait too long. Mandalorians are known for many things, but patience is not one of them. Duly noted. I'll just go ahead and rank up Bast a little bit.
I do.
Yes?
Huh? Yes?
Actually, you know what? I just kind of auto-leveled her, but maybe I should have had her spend some points on some fucking force healing, but whatever. She's also not she also doesn't have her lightsaber equipped. Kind of annoying. Well, now it is. Resistance versus bludgeoning. Fortitude. Why not? Let's give her some energy shields because we can. She can't equip that. Awareness. Will and awareness? That might be good for her. She can't wear armor because she's a Jedi, which makes sense. But yeah, tsundere she certainly is. Bastila is quite the tsundere. I did not mean to do that. Yeah, what do you have in stock? Oh, a load of crap. Just like I thought. I got mines for you, though. Want some mines? I got mines. Got mines for days. At least that's how it always ends up turning out at some point. Frankly, I could save the explosive ones for blowing up doors and shit, but that won't be necessary until I get off-world. I'm not feeling too inclined to keep a bunch of those on reserve. True Sith died out centuries ago. Sith of this era are not a species, but followers of an ideal. And in case you were wondering about that, yes, when they say the true Sith died out, they are talking about the species. The Sith are an actual species, and the moniker of Sith just got carried over as a practice and a culture, as a type of religion that studies the dark side. Alright, Mission seems rather distant. Maybe you should talk to her. Speak to Mission? Yes.
Hey there. What can I do for you?
I want to talk about your brother.
I was a little snappish when we last talked. I'm sorry about that. I get a little touchy when it comes to Griff. It's kind of embarrassing telling people about him.
Embarrassing why?
It's complicated. Griff wasn't the most popular guy. He had his faults. But I still loved him, you know? Sometimes people don't understand. I never knew my parents. My brother always looked out for me. He's the one who brought me here to Tars. I was just a kid, only 5. But I remember the trip, if you could call it that. We were stuffed inside a packing crate in a starfreighter's cargo hold with just enough food and water to make the trip. Not exactly first class, you know?
You were stowaways?
I don't know the whole story. I was pretty young, but my brother owed a lot of money. Might even have been a few arrest warrants out for him, I don't know. The only way to get off the planet was to smuggle ourselves out. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like we're criminals. Well, maybe my brother was. See, this is why I don't like to talk about it. It makes Griff sound worse than he really was. My brother had his problems, but he always looked out for me.
He's family. You have to stick by your family.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Without my brother, I don't know where I'd be. He gambled and drank, and he was always borrowing money for his latest get-rich-quick scheme. But he had a good heart, you know? He taught me how to survive. He showed me how to slice into a computer security system, how to get inside a locked building without the entrance codes, and how to spot a wealthy mark for a quick shell game.
Pretty handy skills to have, mission.
Yeah, Griff did right by me. I really miss him since he left. I keep hoping he'll come back someday. He promised me he would.
Why did he leave?
He fell in with a bad crowd. It's all Lena's fault. She's the one who took him from me. Just batted those long lashes at him and off he went.
Okay. Now it's getting a little bit more interesting. Who's Lena?
I don't want to talk about Griff and Lena. Just the thought of that space tramp makes my blood boil. Subject's closed as far as I'm concerned. If I'm gonna be any help to you, I can't be worrying about my brother running off with some intergalactic skank. So is there something else you need?
You got the jealous One-san trope going on here now too. God, I'm starting to see a pattern here. This game is so unironically Japanese inspired that it's almost hilarious in hindsight. This game is hilarious in hindsight if you're someone who's a fan of Japanese culture. Do you know anything about the planet we're on? No, nothing, never mind.
Okay, have it your way.
Fuck. That's actually kind of funny. It's actually kind of funny. It's so fucking weird. Oh, man.
Hey, look at this! A real live celebrity, right? If times weren't so tough, I'd give you a discount, seeing as how you're a...
Yeah, because I won the swoop race and all.
Because of the Sith.
Yeah, I know that story too. Alright. Ichani Ritual Blade. Double-bladed sword. Sith Sniper Rifle. That's kind of cool. Nothing in here I want to buy. Not even any upgrades, which is kind of disappointing. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and head on to the cantina and see what Candace wants. Bing. Oh, of course it is this cantina.
I saw you in the swoop race. Very impressive. You seem like you know how to get results. That's just the kind of person I'm looking for.
Oh, what are you talking about?
My name's Candace Orda. I work for Davik Kang in the exchange. The hours aren't great, but they promised me a fortune to work for them. And I have nothing better to do. Mandalorian mercs like me are in high demand. But lately, Davik hasn't been paying me what he promised. I don't like getting cheated. So I figure it's time for me to break the Sith quarantine and get off this backwater planet.
Well, that's a real interesting setup there for wanting to get the fuck out of here. So, how do you plan to do that? Now, better yet, why are you telling me this?
I've got a plan to escape Taris, but I can't do it alone. I need someone I know can get the job done to help me. That's where you come in.
You don't need to ally yourself with this person. We should move on while we can.
I ain't talking to you. I'm talking to your friend, aren't I? I saw you win that swoop race and started thinking, anyone crazy enough to race like that is probably crazy enough to break into the Sith military base. I need someone to steal the Sith launch codes from the base. Without those codes, any ship leaving the atmosphere will be disintegrated by the Sith fleet's automated defense guns.
Uh-huh. And you thought it was a great idea to have some ragtag motley crew of weirdos to fucking do it, to infiltrate a Sith base, heavily armored and fortified with Sith troopers, and possibly defensive turrets and machines. You know how stupid this sounds? Why should I help you?
Here's the deal. You bring me those launch codes, and I can provide the vehicle to get us off the planet. Davik's flagship, the Ebon Hawk.
How are you going to manage that?
Not yet. First you bring me the launch codes. Then I'll tell you the rest of my plan.
How am I supposed to get inside the fucking military base?
Getting in won't be easy. The Sith base is protected by an encrypted security system. It would take a top-of-the-line astromech droid to slice through it. Lucky for you, I know just the place to get a droid like that. Davik was having one custom built by Janice Nall. Just tell her Canderous sent you, and she'll sell you the droid. Then you can use it to get the launch codes from the Sith base.
Won't Davik get mad if I take his droid?
Davik paid for the droid, but I'm the guy he put in charge of the mission. He won't care how I come up with those codes. Normally I'd do this myself, but everyone knows who I work for. If I broke into the Sith base, they'd send an army down on Davik's estate to get those codes back. That's why I need you.
Okay, Canderous, you've got a deal.
I don't sense any deception from him, which is surprising. This may be exactly what we need.
I'm going to wait in Javier's cantina. You come and find me when you've got those launch codes, and I'll make sure we both get off this rock.
I mean, I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth either. Alright. Other than that, let's see if I can defeat Marl now with all my amazing skills now. Give me a rematch.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's a legend in the sport, a 20-year veteran who still knows how to show the young kid, but there's always some...
Alright. Let's fuck you up. Oh, I got him with that. Oh, he got me with that. I'm gonna get you.
It's over! The fight is over! The mysterious stranger has won! Marl is down, and questions abound! Is this the end for the long-time vet? Is it time for Marl to hang up his spurs? And what of the mysterious stranger? Twitch is waiting in the wings! Do you dare take a shot at the champion himself? Will the wild-eye wonder finally be unseated?
And just like that, I got that shit taken care of.
You're good, stranger. Maybe even as good as Bendak in his prime. There's no shame in losing to you. But when you beat me, you made me realize something, kid. First, it was just Twitch I couldn't handle. Now it's you and Twitch. Pretty soon, there'll be another young hotshot clawing past me in the rankings. This game's been good to me, but my time is done. I need to get away from the duel rings for a while. Think things over. Goodbye, stranger. I wish you all the best.
Yep. Good to see you, I guess. 400. 400 credits. Those are some nice credits. She could probably use some dexterity. I'm gonna give her awareness. Give her a second energy shield. I don't know if she'd be better. Actually, no, we have an heavy blaster. Let's give her a heavy blaster. Alright. Alright. I think I'm gonna go ahead and head off to bed and resume this again when I wake up. So, see you guys in a few seconds. Morning, everyone. Alright. Ay, ay, ay. So we gotta go grab a droid. But before that, let's go ahead and deliver...
Hey, Bastila. You ever use the Force just for fun? You know, a little jolt of the Force to trip up some jerk who's ticking you off?
I would never use the Force for such petty and trivial revenge. The mere thought of it's preposterous.
Oh, come on. There's gotta be times when you've thought about it. Don't be so stuck up. You can tell me.
I am not stuck up. I merely have the years of training to give me the wisdom and understanding to see how childish the act would be.
Childish? Is that a crack about my age? You ain't much older than me, Miss High and Mighty. Just because you're some Jedi doesn't mean you can be a prissy little... What the... Hey, that wasn't funny.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Mission. Come now, we have to get going. Please, do try to be less clumsy in the future.
These motherfuckers. Oh, man.
Welcome back. Are you in need of healing or medical supplies? I can treat you right here at the center for almost any condition, except the Rakghoul disease, of course.
Uh-huh. I have the serum to cure the Rakghoul disease.
You have the serum? Impossible. How did you get this? No, wait. I don't really want to know. Can I see it? The serum, I mean? I need to see if there is enough for me to analyze it so I can start producing it in mass quantities.
Here you go.
Let me see. Yes, this is it. A cure for the Rakghoul disease. With this sample, I can make enough serum for everyone. The people of Terrace owe you a debt they can never repay. Please, take this small reward. It isn't much, but it's all I could afford. A few credits and 2 spare med packs.
Are you sure you couldn't spare a little something extra?
I suppose I could give you a discount here at my shop in addition to the credits and med packs. Other than that, there is really nothing else I can offer. I appreciate everything you've done. There are many who would have sold the serum to the crime lord Davik for a much higher sum. Now, is there anything else I can do for you?
Well, that is true. One of your assistants is no different. Yeah, let me take a look at what you got for sale.
Of course. Just step over here and I'll show you what I have in stock. My prices are very reasonable. Just what I need to keep this facility operating.
Ooh, that's actually quite cheap. These are implants. Oh, now he's got it. Now he's selling it. I think that's good. Light side points gained.
You blew it. If you'd brought that Rakghoul serum to Zax, you would have made it worth your while. No, you had to go and do the honorable thing.
He says it with such disgust. Just like, oh, you fucking peasants, how dare you? How dare you go and do something that's actually good? Ugh, what is wrong with you? You disgust me. Oh, man. Infiltrate the Sith military base. It's going to be one of our next steps here.
It pains me to see that an alien lover such as yourself is still allowed to walk free. I've seen how the Sith operate. I know they will support my anti-alien policies. When the day of reckoning comes, you will suffer with the rest of the scum and alien lovers.
Uh-huh. Back off, you crazy kook. I don't have time for this.
Hear that, laser brain? Sell it somewhere else, because we ain't buying.
You are like all the rest. You will not see the truth. On the day of reckoning, you will suffer with the rest of the alien lovers.
We should leave. This man may be deranged, but he could also make considerable trouble for us.
True. He could. Kinda want him to, but he could. You know, you just kind of reach a point in life where when you see people like this in actual reality, you're just like, I just don't want to deal with these people. And not only that, but I kind of just would like to get rid of these people. And you know, that's the funniest thing. That's how everybody feels. But you know what's even funnier about that is that the fact that you even think and actively want to do that sort of thing in itself is kind of wrong. Because unlike this guy who lives in a society where racism towards aliens is a little normalized, in real life it's not so. But you hear about this shit all the time. You hear about this shit all the time, just like, oh yeah, racism is horrible, it's bad, it's a lot of things. And then you also hear about how a lot of people, let's see. Anyways, you also hear about how a lot of people blame specific issues on racial bias and all this other crap. And it's just like, you get to a point to where you're just like, I'm fucking sick and tired of hearing about racial problems in a first world country where we shouldn't have racial problems still. And yet we still have those conversations. And so when you see a person who's actually, you know, a little racist, if not completely racist, you know, doesn't just have a bias, but is actually full on, oh, I hate fucking races of a specific kind, you're just like, man, I fucking hate you. I wish you would just go fucking kill yourself.
I figured you'd be back. Neither of us is getting off this planet unless we work. But we've got a small... If you want me to help you, you've got to bring something to the table. So until...
Yeah, I get that. I'll be back when I get the codes.
Glad to hear it.
But yeah, it's just so dumb. Because, you know, once you start thinking like that, then you realize, oh, well, actually, we're kind of, that's actually kind of bad. Because once you start thinking like that, then there's nothing that's going to stop you from wanting to make that person's life just a little bit more hellish. I mean, granted, the person who's probably the racist in this scenario probably hasn't done anything that's technically wrong. Yes, he has terrible viewpoints on other people, specifically. But it's not like he's a member of the KKK or some shit. At least I would hope he isn't. But, you know, it's like, how would you justify wanting to make someone else's life a living hell simply because you absolutely disagree vehemently against an idea or practice that they have. It's like how do you justify that not only to yourself but also to them and other people around you? Just like, oh yeah, I want to make sure this person is unpersoned, and I want to make sure that he has no life, no job, nothing to really work, nothing to really live for, and I want him to be like this because he's a fucking racist. And it's like, I mean, okay, yeah, I can see that. He's a racist, but is that really necessary? Is going that far really necessary? I mean, doesn't that make you kind of know better than the people you hate?
Better be important. I'm trying to watch the dancing girls.
Yeah. I want the bounty on Dia's head removed.
Hey, it's like I told you before.
Yeah, you did tell me before.
If I let her get away...
I think it is time you forgave her. You were partly to blame for her behavior.
Well, maybe it's time I forgave her. I am partly to blame for what she did, I suppose. Okay, you win. Dia can live. Don't worry. I'll stick to my end of the bargain. I'll go tell Zax right now that the bounty is off the table.
Okay. Thanks for the force assist there, Bastila. That was, wasn't expecting that. She fucking came in with a wonderful little assist there, using mind trick on the guy. Back again, human. Yep. More details. Great. Now it's official. Alright. Boy, oh boy. Let's go ahead and leave this cantina. Alright, and I guess we could go talk to Dia in a bit. Actually, maybe we could do that right... Oh, wait, we gotta go back to the, Okay, which way was that? It was down here, right? Yeah, it's down here. But yeah, it's pretty easy to start thinking a certain way and then actually feel like that intrusive thoughts such as I want to do something terrible to other people, it becomes such a okay and normal thing in your mind because they're associated with something that's primarily negative, and you don't want to deal with that shit. It's pretty easy to do that. It's almost kind of sinister just how sickening that kind of actually get. You start to see people you don't like as less as people and more so as like problems that have to be solved or to be weeded out.
Hey there, Upworlder. You want to see what I got for...
Yeah. Ichani battle armor? Huh. Well, he's got a scope and a vibration cell, but I don't need any of these. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk to the old man now.
Greetings once more, Upworlder. Do you bring news of my apprentice? Have you discovered her fate and proved yourself to be a true savior of my people?
I suppose so. Your apprentice is dead. I have her journal.
It is as I feared, then. She joins the list of those who have given their lives in the service of our cause. But though I am saddened by this news, there is yet hope. By finding my apprentice, you have proved yourself worthy, Upworlder. You are to be the beacon on our path to salvation. You will guide us to the Promised Land.
The fuck? I think you have me confused with someone else. Guide you, but I don't even know where the Promised Land is.
You are marked, Upworlder. Even my dim old eyes can see the mantle of destiny that cloaks you. Perhaps old Rookhill knows you better than you know yourself. I am old. I have lived 100 years in the Undercity, cast down into the darkness. I know the legends and history of our people, and now you must learn it too.
Very well. Tell me the history of your people.
The great city of Taris covers the entire surface of this planet. There is no land to grow food. Kelp harvests and the creatures of the sea are our only food source. A century ago, rising levels of toxic pollution poisoned the oceans, and famine swept the planet. The rich hoarded food for their own use, and the poor were left to starve and die. But the poor rose up against this tyranny, and civil war engulfed the planet. Millions died in the fighting, and huge sections of Taris were destroyed or abandoned. The rebellion was crushed in the end. Thousands were taken prisoner. The jails could not hold them all, and so the practice of banishing all prisoners to the Undercity was born.
Okay. So this planet has an interesting history, from the sounds of it. Very bloody one. A very bloody one. I wonder how well that clearly didn't go over too well. But unlike the French Revolution, the actual fucking governmental figures won that fight. What does this have to do with me?
Many brave men and women were banished here to the Undercity for their part in the rebellion. People like my father and grandfather were cast down, along with their families.
What did you expect? If they could get away with it, the Teresian nobles would stuff their own mothers down here to make more room in the upper city.
Now we live a dark existence beneath the streets of Taris, a life devoid of all hope but one, the Promised Land. And you will be the one to show us the way to get there.
Yeah. How can I lead you to this Promised Land when I don't even know what it is?
Legends tell of a self-sufficient colony founded just before the famine and lost during the Civil War. A paradise beneath the Undercity where droid servants tend to every need. For many years I searched for the Promised Land, just as my grandfather and father did before me. When I became old and gray, my apprentice continued the search on my behalf. I have collected many clues hinting at its location. The journal of my apprentice provides yet more information. But still, there are too many pieces missing from this puzzle. But I know my father and grandfather each had journals where they recorded their own discoveries. Perhaps with their journals, I could at last uncover its hidden location.
I have all 3 journals. Here, take them.
Can it be true? Is it possible that at long last, the dream of my father and grandfather before him will be fulfilled? I can hardly bear to look. Yes, yes, of course. Now I understand. It all makes sense. Now I see why the Promised Land has been so hard to find. It is so obvious. You have done a great thing, Upworlder. A selfless act that will bring great joy to all the people of this village. I must take this to Gendar right away.
Well, great.
Kill. What do you want now? Have you more fables of a hidden paradise just waiting for us to find it?
You may not think these are fables after you see what I have brought you, Gendar. Look at these journals.
What? No, it can't be. Are these real, Rookhill? Is this information accurate?
I swear to you everything in these journals is true, Gendar. The Promised Land. I told you I would find it.
The entrance is far from here, Rukil. It will take us weeks to get there, perhaps even months. And we will have to cross many Rakghoul-infested areas.
I do not deny the journey will be hard, Gengar. But surely it is better than the miserable life we have here.
Wise words, Rukil. Our supplies are high right now. We could leave by nightfall. I will tell the others to prepare for the journey.
Thank you once again, Upworlder. I will say a final goodbye. For where we are going, I fear you cannot come. The journey to the Promised Land is long and arduous.
Maybe I should come with you. I could help you on the journey.
No, Upworlder. I cannot ask that. The journey will take many, many weeks, and those who make the journey cannot return. That was the final secret of the Promised Land. When the colony was created, it was designed so that people could enter willingly, but they could never leave again. This was to ensure secrecy on the project. We must part ways here, Upworlder. I sense your destiny is yet to be chosen, but the destiny of my people is at the end of the long journey ahead of us.
Alright. And they won't be back until the Old Republic MMO, where you get to find funny journals that and hollow records of their eventual making it to the Promised Land. All right. You know, one of the other funny problems that I notice all the time is that people have a tendency to, and I see this quite frequently, and no matter where I go, no matter where I am, this particular problem is always frequent, and that's the fact that people just have a really shitty time. Is this, was the exit all the way over here, or am I just running completely? No. Okay. And the one frequent problem that I see all the time is that a lot of people, once they get an impression of you, that's their impression for the rest of your life. I know this because when I'm...
That is a terrible scourge.
Shut up, old man. Because when I go and work in certain places or I meet certain people, if I inadvertently say something that's kind of stupid, because I'm a kind of an awkward person in real life, but if I go and say something that's kind of stupid or makes it sound like that it's actually, or I say something that actually sounds dumber than it actually is, that's going to be people's perception of you. Like, if you, like, for example, I had someone ask me not too long ago about whether or not I could, you know, like, I could help someone in my department because someone needed help in my department, and I was like, oh yeah, let me check for a second, and I was checking to see, you know, because he was asking me if I was on my lunch, and I was like, oh yeah, let me check for a second. And I was searching it up, and I was trying to do the math in my head, but because I'm not really a math guy, you know, I was like, I felt pressure to answer quickly, but also to answer in with a specific time for how long I've been on the clock. So, I mean, well, on the lunch clock. So I started looking at it, and I started looking at the time, and I looked at, and I tried to do the math comparing, like, how long it's been since I've been off the clock specifically, and instead of saying something that sounded remotely close to it, my brain was just immediately like, okay, so then I tried to do the math, and I'm like, okay, so I collected it at this time, 30 minutes to an hour. That was how I responded. And he clearly looked at me like I was, like, in a weird way, and I'm like, what happened? And then I'm like, oh. I made it sound like that I was basically stalling time just so I could clock myself in for lunch, so I didn't have to go outside to go and talk to the and help the person that was out there waiting. That must have been the perception I gave him, because I was literally like spending like 5 seconds looking at my phone for a bit before you know, like kind of just slightly talking to myself about when I clocked in and all that other shit when I was doing it. And then I looked up at, and the first thing that I said was 30 minutes to an hour, and I looked up at him. Which, 30 minutes to an hour doesn't really answer the question, of course, but I made it sound like because we could take lunches between 30 minutes and an hour, that I just clocked in for lunch. And so he took it, and so he likely took it the wrong way. So yeah. And I'm sure his perception of me from here on out is going to be that, oh, well, clearly he's the kind of person who doesn't like to actually who likes to help people, who likes to help customers or some shit. Or you should, or some other, or some type of perception. He's got some type of perception in his mind about me. And I also noticed this from certain other customers too. Like, sometimes my dulcet tones get me into more trouble. Yeah. Yeah, let's try... Oh, wait, I haven't healed myself. Why not? Sometimes my dulcet tones get me into a bit of trouble, too. I had a customer who thought I was being kind of an ass or whatever. That I was tired of their shit or something, but all I was really doing was just trying to look up the thing that they needed, and they were just like, they were kind of fed up by that point for whatever reason, and they were just like, and they were just kind of like, they were kind of just giving me a bit of a lip. They're just like, okay, well, you don't need to be rude. I'm just gonna go and try and find it. And I'm like, what? Yeah, people are stupid, man. They try to read into shit, and all that really does is that instead of just taking things at face value and just letting shit cook, they're just like, I gotta read into this. It doesn't sound like this person is entirely thrilled about having to deal with my problems. And it's just like, well, that might be true for some people, but I'm actually trying to think, and I'm trying to look shit up, because I don't know how to help you find the thing that you're looking for, so I have to look it up through the system. So I'm mostly just thinking. You need to know the difference between someone who's taking the time to think and do something than someone who's totally fed up with your shit. Because let me tell you something, I have a colleague who gets easily fed up with people's bullshit, and that is not how I act is not how someone who's fed up with your bullshit would act. I'm just saying. Anyways, enough of that. Enough about real life. I am ready for the duel with Twitch. You've beaten almost everyone, human. I think you're ready to fight Twitch. Twitch might be crazy, but he's the best in the game. If you can beat him, you'll be the new champion. Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, draw your eyes to the center ring. We have a very special presentation in store for you. Hold on to your seats and stay back from the edges of the ring. He's wild, he's unpredictable, he's borderline psychotic. And he's the best damn duelist in the game today. Give it up for Twitch. But Twitch's opponent plans to take the champion down. Night after night, battle after battle, we've watched this young phenom rise through the ranks. In this corner, the challenger for the title of Taris Dueling Champion, the mysterious stranger.
Alright, let's see how well this will go.
witch's reign of terror is over, ladies and gentlemen. We have a new champion, the Mysterious Stranger.
Alright. We've become the new dueling champion. You're the new dueling champion. Twitch had a good run, but you took him down. Here's the purse for beating Twitch. The bad news is that I don't have anyone left who wants to fight you. You're too good for your own good. Nobody wants to go in the ring with you. The only one left who will fight you is Bendak's Star Killer, but he's retired. Too bad. People would pay a fortune to see you fight Bendak. Yeah. I could possibly talk to him, though, and do that fight. I don't know if I want to, though. Because, I mean, doing that fight, it's difficult. Fighting and defeating Bendak is a difficult proposition. A very difficult proposition. Every time I've attempted to do it, I die at least like twice or 3 times before I actually get him. But yes, if I could have any sort of advice for people in real life, it would be to just not read too deeply into all of your small, minute interactions with other people, especially people that you're only going to have to deal with for maybe 5 minutes, simply because you have a question you need to ask or because you have something that you need. You really don't need to read too much into it, because they're likely not going to give a shit about you either. I say this as someone who works retail. No, I couldn't give 2 shits about your problems or about your issues with me. I just want to get you sorted out as fast as possible. Not because I dislike you, but because I just, it's part of the job. I have to help you. It's just a part of the job. And I think the most annoying by far is people who get real uppity simply because of certain things. Like, have you noticed that stores are locking shit up nowadays? I have to be one of the poor bastards who has to help people with locked merchandise. It's the most annoying process ever. A customer, come in, Janice. Null at your service. Welcome to my droid and droid supply shop. Always good to see a new face. Customers are hard to come by. A lot of Terra citizens won't even come in here. They refuse to shop at a store owned by a Twi'lek. Well, that's a little sad, but not unexpected. Kendra said you'll sell me a T3M4 droid to me? Oh, Kendra said you... Well, why didn't you say so? Okay, the droid is ready. You can have it for 200 credits. That price is outrageous. I'll give you half. Half? Are you kidding? This is the best droid you'll ever buy. The price is non-negotiable. Even for one of Davik's agents. The price is firm. 2,000 credits. Take it or leave it. I can't afford that. You're joking, right? You mean to tell me Candor sent you to collect this droid for Davik and you can't pay? I find that hard to believe, but it's not my problem, is it? So, are you going to pay? The price is outrageous, lady. I'll give you half. Half? If you're trying to rob me, why not just stick a blaster in my face? On the other hand, I don't want to stay... I don't want to stay Davik. I want to stay on Davik's good side. Tell you what, he's yours for 1,500. Lady, you drive a hard bargain. I'll pass. Okay, that's your decision, I guess. Seems to me Candace wouldn't have sent you if he didn't want you to buy it, though. So is there anything else I can do for you? Yeah, I'm gonna go talk to Candace. Let me see your inventory. Uh-huh. These are all droid parts. Which kind of figures? I'll buy that. And then I'll buy basic targeting computer. Yeah, that's fine. Environmental shield. Because, you know, might as well buy some droid parts to upgrade the droid when we get it. Alright.
The evil walks among us. The enemy is here. We must act.
You know, and it's, you know, now that I think about it, the only time I really ever get actual problems with customers, it's usually the women. It's usually women who always have the biggest bone to pick, or the biggest gripes to have with, like, either customer service or some bullshit that has to do with the store's policies. And I'm like, that's just your problem. You know, I don't know what it is with some people. It's they have to it's like they have nothing else to do but bitch and moan about the dumbest shit. I mean, I have no control over it, but that's just how it is. That's just the prerogative in these places. And let me tell you, if it isn't like, I think the most annoying part by far is the people who let, the people who let their fucking kids do whatever the hell they want in a goddamn store. It's like, lady, if I had done this shit when I was younger, my folks would have either had spanked me for one, or they likely would have told me that I'm being a pest and god awful, and that they're probably not going to take me to the store ever again. And so it's always so fucking funny when I see these parents who bring their kids into a fucking grocery store or any kind of store and are just letting them run amok, and I'm like, what the fuck?
I figured you'd be back. Neither of us is getting off this planet unless we work together. But we've got a small problem. I haven't heard about anyone breaking into the military base yet, so I know you don't have those departure codes. If you want me to help you, you've got to bring something to the table. So until you get those codes, we really don't have...
Okay. But I can't get the codes unless I get the credits from you.
Glad to hear it. I figured you'd... But we've got to... If you... Getting in won't... Lucky for you. Just tell... Normally I do this myself, but everyone knows who I work for. If I broke into the Sith... Glad to...
I can't even talk to him about the price tag on that droid. It's kind of annoying. Alright. I guess we're just gonna have to buy the droid using our own money. Gotta buy the droid out of pocket. We're just gonna have to do it. Ay, ay, ay. But yeah, it's always funny because it always seems like it's the female customers that always seem to present the biggest issues. I don't know what it is. Again, I think it's just like, I know it's gonna sound awful, but it's the only people who have a real bone to pick with like any sort of like store or even customer service is usually like the very full of themselves women, the kind of women who think that they're like that I must assume that they must believe that they are the center of the galaxy, that they are the most important thing to ever exist, ever. And so they feel like they are deserving of better treatment. Treatment that is not too different from everybody else. Back again, I see. Yeah. I thought we agreed half. If you're trying, look, I'm not spending that much money on a droid. I'm not. I don't want to spend that much money on a droid. Give me that droid for free, or Davik will close this shop down permanently. Hey, I don't want trouble with Davik. Look, take the droid, he's yours. But the next time Davik wants me to do some custom work, he's out of luck. Good. I didn't want to have to deal with that shit. I may have earned some dark side points for that, but I'm still got a lot of light side points to work with. I am not disappointed at all. It already comes with parts. I just bought all those parts for nothing. Let's equip you with a heavy blaster. Alright. Yes. Now that we got the T3 droid, all we have to do is just go to the Sith base and open up the doors.
Sure.
To get in. Ay. Alright. The military base.
What can I do?
Alright, and just like that, the Sith base is now open. Alright, well, before we go in there, I'm gonna go ahead and cut the video here. It's been quite an adventure. Quite an adventure, and we're nearing the end of this story. We're nearing the end of this story for this planet. So, that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and hope to see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.